Hey everyone. In this video, I'd like to discuss an interesting question, which is if you have to heal from a relationship, does that mean it was unhealthy? This was inspired by a comment I saw on Instagram where this gentleman was basically stating that if you have to heal at all from a relationship, then that implies the relationship was unhealthy. And that comment got me thinking, do I agree with this? And well, I'm not entirely convinced this is true because, well, for one thing, it's making a very complicated thing, the healing process after a relationship post-breakup, it's making it like way too simplified because, as many things in life tend to be, situations are nuanced. Things are they're not black and white, sorry, they're gray, they're very much gray. So this gentleman implying that if you have to heal from any relationship, it immediately means the relationship was unhealthy, tends to miss the mark. Now, here's my interpretation of this. I believe that it depends greatly on the severity of the healing. Because if you have to heal immensely from a relationship, then yeah, that's usually a bad sign. That usually means there was something off about that relationship. Because why are you having to heal so much from it? That usually means that your ex was absolutely horrible for you and they broke you down over time. They may have been a narcissist, they may have been deeply insecure, they probably had a ton of issues that they were then projecting onto you or otherwise acting on in such a way that they broke you down over time. So yeah, if you have to heal immensely, your past relationship most definitely was unhealthy. Now, if you have to heal, but it's not immensely, it's maybe just a moderate amount of healing, that could imply that your last relationship wasn't necessarily unhealthy. It could have been a situation that's perfectly normal, where you and your ex got together because you liked each other, there was a spark there was chemistry, and then maybe over time you started growing apart, or maybe logistics took you apart from each other. And those things can suck. Like quite often in that situation after the breakup, you're still going to have to heal for a bit, but not necessarily because the relationship was unhealthy, more so because you're almost mourning the loss of what could have been. So even though your ex may not have been abusive, they may not have been acting out their insecurities on you, they may not have been a narcissist or whatever, they still could have had an effect on you that leads to you having to heal because you're mourning the loss of what could have been. It could have been great, but there was something holding it back, whether it's your own level of personal growth or that of your ex or both, or just there was something wrong, something off that caused you to go in different directions in life. So I wouldn't say that that immediately means that since you're healing that relationship was unhealthy. Like that's a rather short-sighted way of viewing the healing process in relationships in general. So that would make me disagree with that original comment that led to me making this video. Now, I can somewhat understand the point of view the commenter may have had of believing that like all great relationships won't really have a whole lot of healing afterwards, because usually there'd be great communication between both partners to the point that both of them know the end is coming because they're talking about it. Like, you know, like for instance, if I were to get into a relationship with a great woman and we started drifting apart, I would be communicating to her the whole time. I'd be saying, hey, you know, I'm starting to go in this direction in life. Like I want these goals and they're kind of not aligned with yours. Like I'm thinking maybe if we keep staying together, we could both end up unhappy. And it's not because we're a bad match for each other. It's just because we're going in separate directions in life. We want different things. Like maybe we should rethink what we're doing here. Is this good for both of us? Maybe we should just stay as friends, not be romantically inclined anymore. I would have conversations with the woman similar to that. I would be talking to her. And in that way, that likely would lead to neither of you having to really heal because you've been basically talking things through the whole time. So I understand that maybe that's the perspective that original commenter was coming from, that, hey, like great relationships aren't going to have a whole lot of healing because it's not really needed. Like you're both well aware when things are going to end, and when they do end, it's going to be amicable. It's going to be the type of situation where you both acknowledge that it's not because you dislike each other, it's just you're growing in separate directions in life. And that is often what ends up leading to great relationships ending prematurely, because you both just realize, you have a lot of chemistry, you're good for each other in many ways, but if you want different things in life, it probably is best to no longer be in a romantic relationship together. You can stay in touch, of course, but you should probably stay in touch in a platonic way, because maybe you want to allow the other person to be as happy as they can be. And if they're with you, that's going to hold them back a bit, even though it's not because you're a bad partner for them. It's just because you guys want different things. It'd be like if I met an amazing woman, but she was in love with living in cities and didn't want to live in nature or anything. I don't know how this would happen, because I'm very much attracted mainly to women who love the outdoors. But let's just say theoretically I met like a great woman who loves cities. I would know at some point that would tear us apart, because I do not want to live in a major city my whole life. I just don't. I'd rather be somewhere closer to nature. So at some point that would just be in the back of my mind, and I'd be telling myself, there's no future here. She wants to live in a city. You want to live near nature. This isn't going to work out. You guys don't want the same thing, even though you get along really well and there's nothing bad between you two. Like, this isn't going to work. I'd be thinking that. Probably I'd even be thinking it from the very beginning with the way that I am. I spot those things that could lead to us breaking up eventually, like pretty early on. I'm usually a good judge of whether or not things will last, and something like that would immediately stand out to me. So that happens, it doesn't mean that the relationship was unhealthy or whatever. It can happen. And I would say in those cases that it's just life getting in the way, pretty much. It's okay for that to happen. And yeah, that probably wouldn't lead to a whole lot of healing on either end, but I just don't think that having to heal after a relationship immediately implies that the relationship was bad. Like, yeah, you can get to a point where you aren't going to need to heal once you've worked on yourself enough that you can create those really healthy relationships with immense, honest, and authentic communication, which is really the main thing that leads to people not having to heal. Like, normally, the reason why people have to heal so much is because the communication, the relationships absolutely sucked. Neither of them were fully speaking their mind. So then when things end, like, one of them is blindsided, completely caught off guard, they didn't see it coming at all, and the other one is fine because they were planning it for like months in advance. So yeah, communication solves everything, guys. Like, if you take one thing away from this video beyond just the fact that there's so much nuance to healing, that hey, maybe it doesn't necessarily imply your past relationships were unhealthy. Well, take away the fact that communication is how you've fixed so many relationship issues. Just be an adult, be mature, tell other people what's on your mind, even if it's scary, even if there's a potential for rejection or for making someone else angry or whatever. You need to communicate honestly and authentically if you want to avoid so many common relationship pitfalls. But I'm getting sidetracked away from the original topic of this video, but I basically shared everything I wanted to at this point, because I just don't agree with that original commenter on him stating that if you have to heal from a relationship, it immediately means the relationship was unhealthy. I don't believe that's entirely true. I understand you can get to a point where you aren't going to have to heal because you're with great people who are healthy, but many people don't really get to that point ever in their life. And then sometimes you'll have people who are capable of creating healthy relationships, but they struggle to find someone else who would be capable of creating a healthy relationship with them. That's where I've been for quite some time now. So that happens as well. But it's just life. It's part of life. But I truly hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know whether or not you agree with this. Let me know your experience here and whether or not it is true for the most part that if you have to heal a lot from someone, that probably does mean that that relationship was unhealthy, even if you don't want to admit it, because that would be my inclination there. Or at least if the relationship, no, that's not what I meant to say. It's more so if your ex wasn't unhealthy, but you had to heal a lot, then you were probably the unhealthy one, which can also happen. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing to delve into. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and I will see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci.